right, so we're diving into the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra today.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, it's generating some buzz out there.
Definitely.
We're going to be looking into Engadget's review to see, what they thought of it, and really just trying to figure out, is this the phone for you? Should you upgrade? Is it worth all the hype?
And that price tag.
And that price tag, that's the big thing, right?
It's huge.
This is CoinTalk Podcast on YouTube, where we do these deep dives into the tech that you care about. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
Yeah.
But let's get back to this S25 Ultra. It's coming in at a hefty $1,300 price tag. So right off the bat, is it even worth considering?
Well, I mean, Engadget seems to be a little bit skeptical from what I was reading.
Yeah.
They're saying that a lot of the updates are focused on AI,
Okay.
which seems kind of iterative, and the hardware doesn't seem to be a huge leap from the last generation. So that's a pretty big red flag when you're talking about a phone at this price point.
Yeah, $1,300 red flag for sure. So let's unpack this a little bit. First up, the design Samsung. Samsung's sticking with that familiar rounded corner design we've seen in the previous Ultra models, that boxy design complete with the S Pen slot.
Right.
It's got Gorilla Glass Victus 2 for durability, slimmer bezels, and a slightly larger 6.9-inch display.
Okay.
So sounds pretty good on paper,
Yeah.
but does it feel fresh?
Well, I think the refinements are definitely there. It's not like a radical departure,
Okay.
from what we've seen before. It seems like Samsung is kind of playing it safe in the looks department,
Right.
maybe a little bit. But, maybe that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes sticking with what works can be a good strategy, especially if they're focusing their innovation efforts elsewhere, like on the software side and AI features.
And speaking of the S Pen, there's a change here that might be a deal breaker for some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they ditched the Bluetooth low energy support, which means no more air actions for remote control.
Wow.
Now, they claim that not many people use this feature, but if you were one of the people who did use this feature, it's a pretty big loss.
For sure.
No more using your S Pen as a remote for presentations or snapping photos from a distance.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
It seems odd to completely remove a feature, even if it wasn't universally popular.
Right.
It's like they're saying, well, if you liked it, too bad.
Yeah.
So now they're suggesting using hand gestures or a Galaxy Watch as alternatives for remote control.
Okay.
And of course, the S Pen Pro still exists if you absolutely need those air actions.
Right.
But for those users who really relied on that built-in functionality on the regular S Pen, this is going to feel like a step backward.
Definitely. All right, so let's get into performance now. The S25 Ultra is packing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip.
Ooh, okay.
A mouthful.
Yeah.
But basically the latest and greatest from Qualcomm.
Nice.
You've got 12 gigabytes of RAM and up to a terabyte of storage.
Wow, a terabyte.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy, right?
That's a lot of storage. And on top of all that, Samsung claims that they've optimized the software even further for an even more responsive experience. That's always nice.
Yeah. And from what Engadget saw in their benchmarks, there are some significant performance jumps compared to the previous model. So this phone is a powerhouse.
Definitely a powerhouse.
But here's where it gets a little interesting. All that power comes at a cost.
Oh.
Engadget mentions that demanding tasks like gaming or video editing might drain that battery a little faster.
Well, yeah, that's always the trade-off, isn't it? The more power you have, the faster it drains.
Exactly. It just highlights how important it is to do real-world testing. Benchmark scores are one thing, but how the phone performs in your everyday life with your usage patterns is what really matters.
Totally agree.
So make sure you stick around for part 2 of this deep dive over on CoinTalk Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to dig even deeper into battery life.
Can't wait.
And some of the other key features you need to know about. And don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends who are also thinking about upgrading their phones.
Yes, please do that.
The more the merrier.
We'll see you in part 2.
See you there. Welcome back to CoinTalk Podcast.
All right, so we're back.
We're diving back into this the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with the help of Engadget's review.
Exactly. We left off talking about performance and, the trade-offs you get with having such a powerful phone.
Right.
But now let's get into, I guess, what's really the kind of the big focus of this release.
Yeah.
And that is the AI.
Oh, the AI.
Samsung is really leaning into AI with this release.
It seems like it.
They've introduced a new feature called Now Brief, which is essentially a personalized feed with weather traffic appointments and news, all the things you need to know throughout your day.
Handy.
Yeah, and it's supposed to kind of learn your preferences over time and just give you the information you need when you need it at a glance.
Oh, that's nice.
So I don't know about you, but this kind of sounds familiar.
It definitely has a bit of a Google Discover feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that Samsung is making this a key selling point for the S25 Ultra. They're really pushing, this personalization aspect and how this phone adapts to your needs. But the question is, does it actually do it better than what's already out there?
That's the real question.
Yeah.
Because we already have these features in other phones.
Right.
So is this something new? Is it something innovative? We need to see that.
Yeah, and the AI upgrades don't stop there. So the Now bar also gets a boost.
Oh, the Now bar. Okay.
So that's the thing that gives you like quick updates on things like app usage or sports scores or whatever you decide you want to prioritize.
Right. Yep.
And the Edge panel.
Oh, yeah, the Edge panel.
Which is that little sidebar that you can pull out from the edge of the screen, now hosts even more AI-powered tools.
Interesting.
There's AI Select, which helps you grab screenshots and GIFs more easily.
What?
There's a drawing assist feature to help you create art.
Okay.
And even an interpreter app.
Oh, that's cool.
All powered by AI.
Wow.
And Engadget does mention that the UI for all of these features feels more cohesive now.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, which is a definite plus.
It's good to hear they're thinking about that user experience and how it all flows together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can feel really disjointed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, and we can't forget about the voice commands.
Oh, yes, the voice commands.
So you can now use more natural language to search your gallery change settings or add calendar events.
That's nice.
Engadget gives the example of asking about the next Knicks game without having to specify all the details.
Okay.
Like, when is it? Who are they playing? Where is it?
Right.
You can just say, what's the next Knicks game?
Yeah, just natural language.
Exactly. Sounds pretty cool. But again, this feels very similar to what Google Assistant can already do.
Right. It does feel like Samsung is trying to play catch up a little bit.
A little bit.
Here.
Yeah.
But, maybe they'll surpass it. Who knows?
Right,
I guess we'll see.
What do you think?
I mean, it's an interesting strategy for sure.
Yeah.
They're clearly trying to build out their own ecosystem of AI features. But like we said before, the challenge is really to offer something that's genuinely innovative and not just replicating what's already available. This is a high-end device, the S25 Ultra. They need to deliver that premium experience.
Yeah.
To justify that price tag.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears and talk about the camera.
Okay, the camera. Let's see what they did.
All right, so the main camera is still that 200 megapixel sensor.
Right.
And the 50 megapixel telephoto lens hasn't changed either.
Okay, so no changes there.
But the ultra-wide sensor has been bumped up to 50 megapixels.
Oh, okay.
Which should mean sharper landscapes and wider shots.
That's a nice upgrade.
Yeah. Engadget says that the low-light performance is on par with Google's Pixel 9 Pro.
Okay.
But they weren't exactly blown away by the overall image quality improvements.
So it sounds like they're focusing on consistency rather than really revolutionizing the camera system.
Yeah, they're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
But it's interesting because they did point out a couple new software features.
Oh, okay. Software features. What do we got?
That are worth mentioning. There's one called Audio Eraser.
Audio Eraser. What's that?
Which allows you to isolate specific sounds in videos.
Oh, cool.
So imagine you're recording a video in a noisy environment.
Yeah.
You can actually use this feature to minimize the background noise and just focus on the person speaking.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool, right?
That's really neat. It's like having a little sound studio right in your pocket.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Very cool.
And then there's also the option to create custom photo filters.
Oh, that's fun.
Which I think a lot of social media enthusiasts will appreciate.
Yeah, I think so.
You can basically create your own unique filters and save them for later use.
Oh, very cool.
Ensure kind of a consistent look for your photos and your videos.
Yeah, you have your own personal brand going on.
Exactly. And then for the more advanced users out there, there's a virtual aperture setting that lets you control depth of field. Yeah. So obviously it's not as good as having interchangeable lenses on a real camera.
Right.
But it gives you more flexibility and creative control over your shots.
For sure.
And then for the videographers out there, Samsung has introduced a new Galaxy Log video format.
Galaxy Log. Okay.
Now, before you tune out,
I'm still here.
This basically means that you get more flexibility in post-production.
Okay.
So think of it like shooting RAW for photos.
Yeah.
But for video,
I got you.
You capture more data,
right,
which gives you more room to adjust colors, exposure, and other settings when you're editing.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty interesting stuff.
It shows they're really thinking about those content creators and photographers and videographers
Yeah.
who really, want that extra control.
Exactly.
They don't want to be limited by just basic smartphone settings.
And speaking of control, let's talk about another crucial aspect of any smartphone.
What's that?
And that is the battery life.
Oh, battery life.
That's
That's very important. Yeah, everyone wants to know how long this thing is going to last.
all day, I hope.
So the S25 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery,
Okay.
which is the same size as the previous model.
All right, so no change there.
But in Engadget's testing, they got almost 30 hours of battery life.
30 hours. Wow.
That's impressive.
Which is pretty impressive for a phone this powerful.
That is very impressive.
Now, wired charging is still capped at 45 watts.
Okay.
But now let's talk about the elephant in the room again.
Oh no, another elephant.
The Q2 wireless charging situation.
Oh yes.
So the S25 Ultra is technically Q2 ready,
Okay.
but there's a catch. It lacks magnets,
Oh no.
which means that you'll need a special case if you want to actually take advantage of those faster wireless charging speeds and better compatibility.
Oh, what? Why would they do that?
I know, right? You think they would just go all in on the new standard, especially for a flagship phone like this?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Maybe they're trying to push their own wireless charging accessories?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just going to create confusion for people.
Right. See Q2
Yeah.
ready, you think, oh great, I can use any Q2 charger. I'm good to go.
Exactly. But then you have to go by their special case.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little annoying.
It is a little bit.
Like this.
So we've covered a lot of ground here today.
We've gone through design performance, all that AI stuff, the camera, the battery life.
Yeah. But the big question remains,
What's that?
should you buy it?
That's what we all want to know. Is it worth that $1,300?
Make sure you stick around for part 3 of this deep dive over on CoinTalk Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Don't miss it.
We'll be back to give you our final verdict and break down everything you need to know to make an informed decision.
Can't wait.
Okay, so welcome back to CoinTalk Podcast for the final part of our deep dive into the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra.
All right, decision time.
Yes, we have gone through pretty much everything.
I think so.
The design, the performance, those AI features, the camera, the battery life.
Yeah, it's a packed phone.
It is. And now we need to answer the big question.
The big one.
Should you buy it?
For $1,300.
Exactly. It's a big investment.
It is a big investment.
So let's kind of recap here. The S25 Ultra is undeniably a powerful phone. It's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, a beautiful 6.9-inch display, a really versatile camera system with that 200 megapixel main sensor,
Right.
50 megapixel telephoto lens, and of course the S Pen even with that Bluetooth
Yeah,
channel.
deal with that. Yeah.
But is that enough to justify upgrading?
Yeah.
Especially if you already have a fairly recent Galaxy phone?
Well, that's where it gets a little bit tricky because on the one hand, you do have all those impressive specs and a very refined design.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI features are definitely interesting.
Yeah.
But as we discussed, it's not totally clear if they offer a truly groundbreaking experience that's really different from what's already out there.
Right.
And then you have those quirks like the S Pen losing the Bluetooth support
Right.
and the whole Q2 situation.
Yeah, the Q2 situation.
It's a little messy.
It is a little messy. And, Engadget makes a good point in their review. They say that the S25 Ultra is a fantastic phone.
Okay.
But it's hard to get super excited about it because the hardware and capabilities haven't really changed drastically from the previous generation.
Right.
They even say, and I quote, or even 2 models back for that matter.
Yeah, they're not pulling any punches.
Yeah, they're not. So for those of you watching CoinTalk Podcast, here's the bottom line. The S25 Ultra is a solid phone.
It is.
It's sleek,
Mm-hmm.
it's powerful, it's packed with features,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels more like a refinement than a revolution.
I agree.
So if you're coming from an older Galaxy phone, like maybe an S21 or older,
Yeah.
the upgrade might be tempting.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice a pretty significant jump in performance, camera quality, and overall user experience.
For sure. But if you're rocking, let's say, a Galaxy S23 or even an S22,
Yeah.
I don't know if those improvements are really going to be substantial enough to justify that $1,300 price tag.
Right. And I think that's the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
Think carefully about whether those kind of incremental upgrades
Right.
are really worth the cost to you.
Yeah. Do you need the absolute latest and greatest?
Yeah.
Or are those AI features really going to make a difference in your daily life?
Exactly. Those are the questions you need to ask yourself.
For sure.
Don't just upgrade for the sake of upgrading.
Exactly.
Make sure it makes sense for you and your budget.
Absolutely.
And remember, technology is constantly evolving.
Always.
There's always something new around the corner.
Right.
So if you're not blown away by what the S25 Ultra has to offer,
Yeah,
maybe hold off and see what the next generation brings.
that's a good point.
And hey, while you're waiting, why not check out some of the other deep dives we have over here on CoinTalk Podcast?
Oh, yeah, we've got tons of videos.
We have a whole library of videos covering all the latest and greatest in tech.
So hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.
Yeah, ring that bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
We don't want you to miss anything.
So until next time, thanks for watching CoinTalk Podcast.
Thanks for joining us.
And remember, stay curious, stay informed, and keep on diving deep.